if he is not feeling well, if he has an injury, if he's not, it's not your interest. You want him to do what you want. So what are these things that makes you feel that what we have in Kenya, they are dictators and not coaches?
The problem is that they don't, most of them, they don't want to listen to athletes. When maybe you wake up in the morning, you excuse yourself, you tell the coach, I feel I'm not feeling well, my leg maybe as I got an injury. The coach can tell you, no, please go fast, and then you come back. When you come back, the coach is nowhere to be seen. The same thing tomorrow, he will tell you dawa ya moto ni moto, meaning you just work out, then it will heal itself. Then again, on that motion, we lack of I think physiotherapy in Kenya is really, I think it's not good. It's somehow very expensive. When you have an injury, it will take a lot of time for you to get healed. What we know is all about massage, and massage is not a medicine. You cannot go for an x-ray, maybe you see what's the problem from the doctors who know about sports. So you go to the hospital, maybe they inject you about those simple things. Then you get, the injury gets worse, you go out for almost 5 years, and then you can come back, or 3 years when it is safe.
Okay, we will ask Coach Meshach when he comes back about the issue of coaching. Okay, he's back there. Coach Meshach.
Yes.
Are we dictators in Kenya as coaches, as Kenyan coaches? Are we dictators? As some have said, if an athlete stand up with an injury or an issue, 90% of the time we don't listen to the athletes. We will just ask them to do what we want and not worried about how the athletes feel or what's happening.
There is absolutely nothing wrong with dictating.
Okay.
You see, an athlete who is strong psychologically can handle a directive from a coach, even if it's the harshest and the hardest one. He can handle that. A strong athlete should be able to do that. On a lighter note, Kenyan coaches use more of a military-like training approach, because we have levels of coaching. We have dictatorial, which is, and then we have the democratic one, whereby you can discuss with the athlete what you want to start, what you want to do on that day, and also we have the one that is, I think, the one that the athlete will tell you what he wants to do, like the one you use in Britain and in the US. But in Kenya, because most of the coaches are military trained, so they dictate, and that's what works for our athletes. So there's nothing wrong with that. If you cannot handle a coach who dictates on you, then you might go back and ask yourself if you really want to be trained by that coach. As long as he does not beat you up, he can dictate to you, because running is about the mind. So if I can push you psychologically, then the pain that you experience in running is nothing. So you must be able to handle that pressure. You must be able to handle that kind of dictatorial nature of a coach. And if you can do that, then you are a successful athlete. So there's nothing wrong with dictating.
But Coach Meshach,
some of the dictators, yes.
Coach Meshach, if an athlete stand up with an injury, and that injury required probably a rest of 2-3 days for him to recover, or for her to recover and get back to running, and you send him for a run with that particular injury, I mean, you might be making it worse. Instead of 1 week recovery, the athlete might be out injured 6 months or 3 months or 1 year because of that one decision that you made. Instead of asking the athlete, okay, this is your body. If you are not feeling well, go home, have a rest.
It goes back to the to the original discussion on the relationship. If you have a good relationship with your coach, it means you have good communication. So the coach will know when the athlete is injured and when he's faking it. But if you have a bad relationship with the coach, then the communication between you and him will be struggling. So you can actually be genuinely injured and the coach will send you out for training because you don't have a good communication with him. If all the time your phone is off, all the time you are out of the training camp, if you turned out in the morning and said, I'm injured, I cannot go to run, the coach will force you to go and run. But if you are in a good relationship with the coach, in a good communication with him, I know he'll not send you to go and train when you have an injury because he'll know that you are injured.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Coach Mesha. Now, Sami, do you have any other challenges, or I can ask you one or two questions about the challenges of athletes, as I have interacted with many Kenyan athletes. There's this issue of alcoholism.
Yes.
Is alcohol a problem in Kenyan athletes?
Sure, that I think it's a tough question, but it is for those who don't know, those who are not spiritually strong, they can't handle, because we have got what we call peer pressure. Then they will tell you when you take alcohol, you will recover faster from hard trainings. So you have to follow them, join them. It's a challenge, especially for the men athlete.
Okay, Coach Meshak, what do you think? Do you think alcohol is a problem for Kenyan athletes?
It is a problem because many of them are not. They cannot control. A beer or two is okay, after a long 6 years marathon training, you can take a beer or two, but getting into alcoholism says that there is a bigger problem behind that is affecting the athlete.
But do we have alcoholism in elite level Kenyan athletes?
Yes, and I think it's a psychological problem, because not all of them drink in an organized manner. It's not so they get into drinking, into alcoholism, because of some underlying challenges that they are facing. Sometimes can be family, it can be lack of finances, it can be the challenges affecting them. We know that many athletes have gone into drinking when they realize that they cannot win anymore. So it's a way of coping depression. And I think I agree with Sami that there is a big problem for alcoholism among our athletes, but it's something that you can control. But I'm not saying that athletes, when they want to drink a beer or two, is a problem. It's okay to do that, but they must do that in an organized and civilized manner. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
To add that.
Yeah. Go on.
I don't drink. I don't drink. So are you asking if I'm drinking or what? I have never taken alcohol, Sami. So
okay,
I never did that. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. No worries at all.
Okay. Give me a minute. I plug in my phone.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Go.
But
go
you
on,
can go on with the discussion.
Go on. Go on, Sami.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just to add on that. You find those elite athletes at the top level, they will tell you that I have taken something. In order for me to hide this thing, you have to take alcohol. So you see, maybe somebody has doped. Then when you go to the races that night, you have to take alcohol. Then when the doping people come there, they will find you with maybe the urine, it has alcohol. Then that is all. What they believe. That's what I know. That is what they believe, and I have had it.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, the issue of doping and in Kenyan athletics, I mean, we are going to have a proper discussion. It's not, we can't exhaust it onto this level. We will we'll talk about the other challenges. Now, every year we have a lot of Kenyan athletes that go to China for races. And many of the times we get, athletes running into problems when they go to China due to various reasons. I'm not an athlete. I have never run in China. So what are the challenges that these athletes get to when they go and race in China? What are the problems so that we can advise athletes going, we can inform probably the authorities about these issues? What do you think are the problems that the Kenyan athletes get into once they go to race in China?
First of all, before the challenges they face in China, going to China has been a free market and it has so many races. So, and finding a ticket or a race or somebody taking you to China is not a problem. But when you reach there, who took you to China? That is the problem we have. You get somebody online, you get a friend tells you, I have a friend who can send you a ticket. So first of all, going to China is not a problem. You don't know who takes you there. First, the major problem we have when you reach there is the language barrier. They give you maybe some documents, you can't read them. You don't know the kind of the race you are going for. Maybe you are a road racer, you get some pamphlets for that race and it says it's a marathon. The manager gives you the Chinese, they know once you are a Kenyan athlete you can beat everybody, so you cannot read that one. Tomorrow when you sleep he tells you tomorrow we are going for a race. So language barrier is the biggest problem we have from Kenya to China. When you reach there, you cannot communicate, not unless you have somebody who is transparent as a manager. And as I know, Chinese have got no managers who are registered, and as I know.
Okay, I mean, why can't AK register Chinese managers, so that if an athlete is going to race in China, they have to go through the right procedure, they have to get clearance, the office should know who is taking this athlete, just in case there's an issue, they know, who to follow.
Once, and I'm sorry to say, but I have to say it. When it is not a must, you go to China, you have an AK letter, or you have a letter, an AK letter or a letter from Chinese embassy or from China that you are going for races. You can use any letter to go to the embassy, like you are going for work. But when you reach there, it is you and the person who called you or the agent who called you. So you go to the you don't go to AK office to obtain a letter from AK. So what you do, you go to the traveling agency. You tell them I'm going for China. They give you a tourist visa. When you go there, maybe you go for business. When you reach there, you go for athletics. That is where we perish. So AK cannot control, not unless and otherwise.
Yeah, okay, tell us the problems. I mean, give us an example of the problems the athletes face once they are in China. They have gone there for a race, whether they paid it themselves or how they went there, but the athletes are there in China. Now, what are the problems now that they face? We have heard about the language barrier. You can't read the documents. You don't know what the races are. What other problems do these athletes encounter while they're in China?
Another one is food. In China, you can't take maybe rice and maybe some funny things. Then you go to run a marathon. Food is a problem. Not like maybe in Asia, in Europe, where you can eat well and the next day you can run well.
Yeah, go on.
So food is a problem. Then again, after winning the races, you don't know where you can get that manager or agent to give you money. He will tell you, just go back, I will send you money. After you come back to Kenya, he cannot answer your phone. Even if you can try that number, it cannot go through. So you end up losing your money, your energy, everything. When you come to Kenya, then it will lead you to depression. And
get into
many
drinking.
Yes, and then you can forget those things.
Yeah, okay. Coach Meshach, have you experienced this with any of your athletes or athletes that you know who have gone to China and they have come back and, narrated their encounter in China?
None of my athletes have gone to China. And going to China or Europe or the US is never the business of a coach. We are not involved in that because our job is to train the athlete, and when they feel like they want to compete and they have found if they can go into a manager or do self-management. So a coach who is involved in this athletics business is overstepping his mandate. So for coaches, we want to focus on the training of an athlete. So the athlete tells you that I have a race, I'm going to compete in the US or in the UK or in China, and they want to achieve a certain number of, they want to achieve a certain goals in their training, then it's our primary focus to focus on preparing them for that specific race. But going there and competing and making money or sleeping hungry in China is not our business. And like I said, any coach who is involved in this athletics business is overstepping his mandate, and they should not do that. On a lighter note, AK has been put in place to take care of these kind of issues. Their job is to protect the Kenyan athletes. So if a Kenyan athlete has qualified to be a good, has ran good time, AK should be on the lookout to find out where are these good athletes who are running. They should be in almost every competition globally. AK must have agents all over to see if there is a good athlete who is competing. They should step in immediately and ask them how they came there, how they finance their trips, if they need any assistance, if they can be assisted to find the proper management. You see, because Athletics Kenya is a body funded by government to take care of Kenyan athletes. We coaches do the coaching. AK manages the athletes. So if the athletes chooses to work with AK and work with the managers registered with the AK, then be it. If they choose to self-manage, which is still okay, because athletes who go to China are self-managing themselves. They look for the races, they apply for them, they pay for their own tickets. There's nothing wrong with that. They pay for their own visas and travel, pay for their own tickets. They go there. And the other ones would say, AK, please find me a good agent because I feel I can compete. So it's a choice of an athlete and the AK. Coaches, let's stick to coaching, no business.
Thank you. Now, my next question is to Sami.
Sorry. I have another.
What did I say wrong now?
Yeah, go on, Sami.
Yes. As the Chinese believe, a Kenyan athlete is a Kenyan athlete. No resting at all. You run marathon after marathon every weekend.
And it's you, because you are above 18, to decide if you want to run or not. You're not a slave. You can make that decision and say, I'm not competing today. I'm not leaving the country without my money. It's that simple. You don't need to leave and believe a stranger because you are managing yourself. Go to him, go to his house and tell him, give me my money, I want to go home. They'll give you your money. If they refuse, look for the nearest Kenyan embassy and report that. It's that simple, man. Ama nimeharibu tena.
No, it's true, but cases have been reported, and you can, I can name some of the coaches, the agents in China, and if you can take them to the police even they will tell you now this person is a criminal. He has been here now and then.
It's like not the business of the police. Listen, it's not the business of the police. When you get to China, you are the business of the Kenyan embassy in China. Unanifuata vizuri? When you get to China, the first thing you normally do is to report to the Kenyan embassy and say, I have come to China alone. I have come to compete. You always submit the details of the person inviting you to go to China. You submit the name of the town you are going to stay to the Kenyan embassy in China. If something wrong happens, they are the first line of defense to help you, not the police. You have got no business going to the police because you don't have any rights in China.
Now, coach, you can see you are well informed than other athletes from Kenya.
If you go to China, you have got no rights, so you cannot go to the police.
Yes.
Now, can we say that some of the athletes going to compete in China, they are doing this illegally without informing the governing body, so that whatever problem they get is their problem because they didn't follow the right procedure to go and race in these countries?
It's not illegal. It's a choice, because I said you can, when you feel that you are ready to compete and the coach has said yes, you can compete, you can decide to go to the governing body, AK, and tell them that I want to compete, show me the list of races. World Athletics sends a list of races to AK so that they can recommend to the athletes where they can go and compete. Kenyan athletes can still seek the guidance of AK on who to sign up with, the managers. Sorry about the rain. And if the athlete decides to go to China on his own, it's a choice, and the entire responsibility is with them.
Okay. Now, Sami, there's one very important issue that I want to ask you, and this is a very sensitive issue in Kenya and around the world. And it's not exhaustive. We can't discuss that topic today, but we are going to come back to this particular topic. But I would like just to get your opinion on this. As a Kenyan athlete, we know that there's a problem of doping in Kenya. A lot of athletes have been banned over the years, and it's something which is ongoing at the moment because a lot of Kenyan athletes are turning a positive dope test. Now, Sami, have you ever been tempted to dope as an athlete?
Yes.
And why do you think that Kenyan athletes dope? I mean, what tempted you to dope? I mean, you are now a representative of the Kenyan athlete. So what tempted you to dope?
Performance pressure. Yes.
And where does this pressure come from? I mean, why pressure?
Pressure, I want to reach at the top. I want to make money. I want to be like my fellow athletes at the top. So it will force me to look for funny ways of getting those drugs. Then I can be at the top like them.
Okay. So
yes.
So the current doping pandemic in Kenya, it is purely athletes wanting to get to the top. There's nothing, no any other influences or nothing else. It's just from the athletes wanting to perform well and get some money.
Yes, the competition is very tough. Now, how can you reach there? How can you be at the top? That is the only way you can do. Maybe you want a job, maybe with the Kenyan forces, the police, the prison department. You have to put more energy in your body in order for you to be at that, to be recruited, maybe in the army, in the police, in the prisons. So you have to look for alternative ways, because going for the natural way, you train hard, win easy. It will take you 10 years, 12 years, 8 years. Then what are you going to do? You can maybe look for something which will take you maybe 2 years, 1 year, 5 months. Then you'll be there.
So what stopped you from from doping. You had this temptation that you want to dope, and you haven't doped, as you have told me. You have never doped or anything. So
Yes.
what stopped you? That temptation. You at one time you are tempted. Okay, I want to dope, and then you stopped thinking about it and
Yeah.
started running clean. What stopped you?
I, I had an opportunity to go to represent my region at the national level. Then the anti-doping agency of Kenya came. It organized a seminar at the national. Then they told us the effects of drugs and how you can train. That is when I came to realize taking drugs or doping, it has major effects on my body at later stage. Maybe you can take something you don't know. Somebody maybe a doctor or a nurse can give you something you don't know. You get your heart may burst, something like that. You get somebody running abnormally. You don't want to hear what the coach is telling you. You go at the track, at the field, the coach is telling you maybe 400. You have to do 20 times 65. Every lap is 65. Then you can go up to 60 because you have something inside you driving you. At the end of the day, you will find yourself, the heart is no more. You die. And then when I went to some races, I went to Kisumu Marathon, my first marathon in Kenya. I was position 3. Then the doping guy came and told me, now you are position 3.
You are breaking up, Sammy. Yeah, okay, go on. You are back. Okay, you are breaking up.
Yes.
Yeah, go on.
So then the dope test was done to me at Kisumu Marathon, then I knew now I can't take drugs because doping is with me, and I got sent to a manager, Run Fast management. Then the agent told me, as you have joined Run Fast management, no doping. We shall organize races for you, but remember, when you go outside, dope tests will be done for you. Then you have to avoid. I don't want to hear many cases from athletes doing doping. Then I had to stop. I had to look for ways. I had to go for gym, for hill training, to eat well, and I had to do some research because most of the time I'm online looking for what can I do to improve my running.
Yeah, thank you.
Again, knowledge, as I was told, knowledge are in you can find it in the book. So that is what I do mostly.
Yeah, we thank you so much. I mean, we need to advocate for Run Clean. As Run Clean advisors, we need to put that information out all the time. So we must always try to run clean and avoid all these things. So have you attended any anti-doping seminar in Kenya?
Yes, I have attended twice, but that one you have to attend it when you are at when you are going for the nationals, not at the grassroots. From my place, they have never came to that place.
So there's no doping education. I mean, is that how it is? The doping education for athletes is not
Yes.
adequate. It's not covered certain area. So if you
Yes.
go to certain parts of Kenya, you will find some athletes who have not had anything about doping. They don't know anything about it.
Yes.
Now, we have lost Mr. Meshak, Coach Meshach. Now, tell me, to get to your next level in your athletic career,
Yes.
what are the challenges? What do you need to see done? What do you think you want to do? What is not being done? But before I get to that question, there's something that's come to me. Do you think there's any pressure on managers and coaches from the Kenyan athlete regarding doping? Do you think managers or coaches encourage athletes to dope? What do you think?
I think it's not really, but to some extent, some managers have pressure because they have invested a lot, and the AK and the government is not following what the agents, the managers are doing at the ground, at the grassroots, where they have the camps.
Okay. Now, thank you. Now let's get back to the other question. As to get to your next level in your athletic career, what challenges do you face? I mean, you are a top level athlete at the moment. Now, to improve further, to compete with the top athletes in the world, what challenges do you face?
The first challenge I'm facing is proper coaching. That is the really major, because I have a coach, but he's not in Kenya. He's based in Sweden. So he keeps sending me the program. But I need a coach at the ground who can monitor my training, my speed work, my everything. I think with that I can really improve.
Are there shortages of coaches in Kenya?
They not really, but lack of goodwill from those coaches. That is the problem.
Okay.
Yes.
What's the next? What else? What other thing apart from coaching?
Since I am not signed to any company for facilities, so sometimes facility is a problem, not to me only, but to most athletes in Kenya. So if I can get training facilities, majorly the shoe, that I think that is the biggest problem that I face again.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
Physiotherapy. Physio
Okay.
again is another major problem. When you have maybe an injury, you don't know where to go. Maybe if you go there, they are too expensive. We have got the sports physiotherapy in Kenya. I think we have a shortage.
Okay.
Yes.
Coach Meshach, we lost you briefly there. We were on.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, we were on the point of doping in Kenya, and we were asking Meshach. We were asking Sami whether he has been tempted to dope, and we were going through it. What is your impetus? What do you think about doping athletes, Kenyan athletes doping?
Doping is a big problem in this country, and it's such a how can I even describe it? It's such a big impediment to the work of coaches, because it comes in to invalidate what the coaches have done. Because coaches work really hard. We work really hard to develop these athletes. We work really hard to mentor them, to tell them that doping is not right. Try to run natural. You know, like your talent is more important than the enhancements that you might need. And then the athlete ends up doping again. So all the work that you'll have put into an athlete will be gone to waste. And it's such a big discouragement to the coaching fraternity. I think if there is a magic one that can be done to remove doping in our athletics, I really welcome it, because it's such a big problem. It's not just affecting the athletes, but also affecting the coaches as well.
Maybe-
Managers might not be affected because they enjoy the money, because athletes do win money, they share with the managers. But we, the coaches, feel really bad when our athletes are banned, they are suspended. So tunarudi kuulizwa, so what did you do for 3-4 years when you are developing these athletes? After running, he's banned again. But you see, one thing I've never been told is if the money that the managers take from these athletes is returned when the athlete is banned. I don't know if that happens. So you realize that the people who actually should be put on the spotlight are the agents or the managers. And of course, AK, because AK approves these managers to work with the athletes who dope. But in the real sense, it's affecting us, it's destroying our careers, it is making us look bad when we really don't need to be seen as people who endorse this kind of vice. So I really condemn doping in the strongest terms possible.
Yes, Sammy, you are say something. Yeah, we lost Sammy. Okay, now what is your message? What message could you give to athletes watching us or those who will watch us? What message will you give the Kenyan athlete?
The message should be simple. They should be in charge of their careers. They should be in charge of their lives. They should be in charge of their, their well-being. Because if they mess around, the people who suffer most are themselves and their families. So they should be in charge. So when they get into running, they should be ready to protect themselves and protect their careers at all means. So running, like I always say, is not for the meek, it's for the strong. So athletes must know that at all times.
Yeah, thank you very much for today. You can join us in our next videos. These are educative and informative programs which we will release, as topical issues as we discuss. And welcome, Coach Meshach, and thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you very much
in this interview with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and my pleasure. I'm happy to be here always.